Okay, a Final Cut Pro beginner, absolute beginner tutorial. And this is for people who have never seen this program before. And this is probably part one. Do a little bit easier tutorial at the beginning and then more difficult one later. But so this is the very thing, the explaining and how this program works. I have those icons here on the Mac, the Final Cut and the motion. Those go together. If you compare to things from Adobe, for example, the Final Cut would be this similar product like the Adobe Premiere, and the motion is something like Adobe After Effects. And we are talking today about the Final Cut Pro app. Okay, let me start this thing up. It comes completely empty with nothing set, so that's perfect for us. I do have two cameras here in this morning where I did a video with, a DJI Osmo Action and a GoPro Hero 9. With those two cameras I recorded a short movie, and we are going to make this movie today. And the first thing we do is we have to import this video from those cameras into our project. Now, in the left hand side here, in this little field, there will be our libraries. There will be, if you want to call this like it's a folder. A library is a folder with your name on it. The first thing we do here, I create a new library. Here, new library, okay? And I also know where to put this library. It's selected for me already an external SSD drive. That is something what I can really recommend to use for this video stuff. On any Mac, like if you have a MacBook or anything, or an iMac, whatever, it's not saved on your computer, it's external, it's super fast. Here up here in the right corner, if you want to look at this, I think I did an unboxing or some of that drive. So we rename this from untitled to our own name. I call this simply tutorial and save it. Now I close my personal video library and I have this tutorial library, right? So in this tutorial library, this is the folder where Final Cut will collect all the footage and graphics and whatever you have in there for your project, okay? So you can also call this a project folder. They call it library here. Okay, let's import. I can click here the import button and then go to my SD cards here and do it from there, or I just drag it in from here. So let me do that. This would be the DJI Osmo Action. There's a media folder in there, and it has two videos in there with two different names. It has time and date in it, and here the sizes. I can grab those two and drag them over here to this import. And as we see, nothing happens. Why not? Because we have to make an event first. Okay, so this is the library that contains stuff, but we have like a shooting event kind of thing. So we need to name those first. Okay, so we do a new event, and in this event we tell Final Cut in what resolution we want to have everything. We want to go with a 1080p, 30 frames a second. This is what YouTube likes the most. For rendering and real-time editing, we want to convert this thing to Apple ProRes 4:2. It is a setting, I don't know if it does it automatically or if you have to select it. This is the one I pick. And then we have here an event name. There is usually the day in there. So we call this event Jeep remote start. Jeep remote start. So I made a video about a Jeep that does a remote start. Okay. So now we have here this event. There it is. And it has a project in there. This is the actual movie, the name of the movie we create. Okay. Why does my Jeep start weird? That's a great title, isn't it? So now, since we have this event folder, we can drag our footage in here. We see immediately a preview, and we can scrub through our two videos here. Okay, this one. We can also right-click in this area and say import media. Okay. Let's look at this, and we go to, on my desktop I have it, the GoPro Hero Black. Double click on this. The GoPro Hero Black has 4 files on its SD card. We can now select what we want from there. If we don't want all, we can select a segment of a movie that is on there to copy to our library, or we can just do everything. If we deselect here and say import all, it will import everything to our library, right? And it goes to the existing event here, the remote start event. This one. You can put it somewhere else or create a new event. We are copying to library. Import all. So then you see this little circle here. Do you see how it copies? And when it's done with copying. Up here, you see what's happening right now. So if you click on this, you can check if there's any background tasks going on or what's happening inside the system. So it's like you can check what Final Cut does in the background. You can do a lot in the background. So once you have this inserted, you can basically eject those SD cards. Just take them out of our view, and then we can make our window a little bigger. And then we can basically start editing. We double click on the project here, and then it will show you the project name here. So our movie name. And then we can add footage here. Okay. Now, we have different names here. GX, it's the GoPro film. And then DJI is the Osmo. There's 2. And what I usually do is I drag everything in here. And then I can start editing. But in this case, I used 2 cameras at the same time. The GoPro here was recording how the exhaust comes out of the exhaust pipe. There. And the DJI was recording how I push the starter button. But this one and this one, I recorded at the same time. If we want to see the information for those 2, we can click here on the little eye, and we can see what this video is here. This is the DJI camera. No, it's not. It's the GoPro Hero 9 Black. And we can see here it's 8 minutes long. This one here, it's 1:44 long. So yeah, that doesn't make sense. Or it's the time, it's 8 o'clock 41 minutes when it started and 8:43 when it ended. So 2 minutes, right? And this is the DJI. It only shows the duration. not the time and date when it started and ended. Okay, but those two I did at the same time. At the beginning, I snapped my fingers a few times here, 3 times. And on this one, I snapped my fingers 3 times. So what I can do is I can do a multicam clip out of them. So this is the GoPro. And then I hold the Apple key and click on this one. Those two are selected at the same time. And I click right click and say new multicam clip. There I can rename it and I can use the audio for synchronizing both. So I can call this remote start. That's what happened here. It will make this clip and has it down here now. So I had a second one where I opened the door. This one here. The GoPro filmed how the door pops open. And with the DJI, was it this one? No. One of them in the DJI, I pushed the button here. So with the DJI, I push the button in this clip. And with the GoPro, I film it here. So the Apple key hold and then select both. Those two are selected. New multicam clip. And then call this gas door open. Audio synchronizes it. Boom. And there is the gas door open movie. Remote start gas door open movie. And then after that I did those here. This little bit wiping here, going through here, going through there, right? So 1, 2, 3, and then those two. So now I select them, all those last ones, and drag them into my timeline, and they're going in here. Now I can push the space bar and listen to this. Okay, then I have this one here. This way, it's a little shaky. Then I have this one here.
Ready to record. So,
and it's supposed to
this
record
camera
the
is
thing.
supposed to watch the door. We're gonna fly in with this one.
Right. And here was the remote start though. And we want to deal with the remote start first. Okay. Put this over here. You can just move them around, right? Let's try and do this one here first with the Jeep thing. Let's start here with the title. Okay, so this is the first thing here. Now, what always sounds and looks good is when we do play this in slow motion. So I have the clip selected, the yellow square around it indicates that, and then here is the timing thing. So if I say slow 50%, this thing will play slow. Now, the sound is also affected, right? So it sounds weird, and I can use this here, this little icon, to drag the sound down to 0. Turn the volume off, basically. So now we look at this. Okay. We're going to start the video here. Here, maybe? You can then drag the beginning of the video over here, like this. So now it will start here. Wipe off the Jeep here, like this. There, and then you move out of this and go over to the next scene, right? If we want to end it here, we have two choices. We can go over here like this, or we just cut it. But let's do this. We want the title, okay? Go in here to Titles. Here it shows all the titles it has. We go in with a very basic one. The title is already 10 seconds long. If you want to change the timing of this, you can drag it here to however long you want it. Let's do an 8-second title. See how this looks like. So the title text is here. Double click on it and change it. So we can select it, we can change this thing to bold, we can change the size of it. Well, let's do this. Tick the select button here, and we can drag this where we want it. The yellow lines help us to center it. Okay, so let's see how this goes. We wipe off the Jeep and then say remote start. Okay, and then we blend over to the next one. Okay, so this was our clip with multiple cameras that did the remote start, right? And we find the location where we did this here. Let's do this here. Oh, so I push the B button for blade, B blade. Click here, and then it cuts this off, right? We can remove this. And now, let's look what this does.
Air condition, but there we go.
Okay, that's where the end of our section here is. I don't know what happens there. Don't need this. So now we have this, but as we know, we also have we also know that this is multi-cam clip, so this is 2 in 1. We can hold select it, hold the Option key, and duplicate it. Okay. We can scale this, make it smaller here in the transform here, info button. Transform, scale all, make this movie smaller. There it is. We can place it, let's say, down here, whatever size we want. But now we want to see the second camera in here, right? So we right click on this and say active video. We want to have the GoPro showing. Oh. And on this one now we have the GoPro, but we have to make it smaller here, the GoPro angle also. It's gone smaller. Now we see here in our original GoPro footage the house. We don't need this, so we can really move it over like this. Depends how much smoke comes out of it, right? Now if we play both,
Air condition, but there we go.
double click. And there we see how it comes out. Now, you could move this over a little.
Yep.
You know? Yeah. If we want, we can take this over to that side. Now, if you push this button, you can, on the screen here, move it around. Like this. Click again and see how that looks like. Okay, and then we go to the next. But I don't know, in this case, I think the best scenario is to have it down here. Okay. What we also do have here is that we can say, oh, in this video, this corner here is really in the way. It would be nice to cut this off. We can do this too with masks. So, let's do this. This is the second video here. Let's take the volume down. And then apply a mask to this one. Okay, we go here to effects, to masks. We want to draw our own mask on this one. Okay, and then you just do a control point, click here. Let's have our mask here. And now it will only show this part of the video, right? 80%, go to 50%. We can take those mask points outside the canvas to make sure that it has everything in it. There. See that? Zoom to fit. Sorry. So now let me look at this. See this here. Okay, so now we go in this part here. How we open the gas door. That's the same thing. I want to start here. Go in there. Push the button. And the gas door opens. Right? So now we're going to duplicate again here. Active audio angle, the second camera. See this here? Okay, so what we want to do with this. We want to start out with a button push. So we're moving this over to the right. Here. And the movie underneath to the left. Here. And when we go here like this, push the button there, And then, at that moment, we set a keyframe on our second movie. And while we move out there, set another keyframe, put this back to 0. So when we watch this now, we see how we click the button, and then the movie moves over, and we see how the door opens there, and then we cut here away, take the whole rest of it away, do transition here, only at the end, and then what happens is this. Look at that. Now, what we see now here underneath, here, is that we need to push this back to the center, right? So when we move over, that then our card is here. And here's the solution to our problem. Here, there, we can break it apart, go here, make this slow, don't want all the noise here. Okay, so now it looks like this. Okay, 85 gasoline. And then it's and then here we make a title. Hold again. And then I have this at the end. Okay. Taking this out. What else do we have here? This one. And what does this one do? We don't need this one. Okay, so this one here we want to play in reverse. Not rewind, we do reverse the clip, and then we want also do slow motion again, 50%. So we can do it like this. There. I don't know how we... if this is necessary or not. I don't know. Okay, so having all this now, we could start some music here in the back. Engine running. I didn't like here at the beginning.
There we go.
So here we start the volume slowly.
Air condition, but there we go.
So we don't like the part of the audio here at the beginning. We want to cut that out. We can detach the audio and just cut it off. this part of the audio, then it just starts later. And then here, we want the title on top. Okay, so and then here you can read this, not good. We go and take a solid behind it, behind the text. Go here, drag this up here, make this smaller. We can do this batch right behind the text like this if we want. This background, we could change the opacity here. Shine through a little. Here, 80% seems to be good. Right, so like this. It has its troubles. And then we're going to look for some music. Now, while we're looking at this, we can see up here there's activity going on. And you can see here there's transcoding of clips going on to make this easier here. This is all in the background, and the more we move around, it pauses it and stops doing what it does in the background. Okay, looking for music. I don't know. Okay, let's take this music and play it here. That's our whole problem here. And let's tune it out, and we also go in here into a dissolve thing. This is the length of our transition. Okay. So now it will look like this. Good. So, I like this video as it is. We're going to check titles for the last time. If we want here another background, we can just copy this one to put it underneath the text. Here. Grab it underneath here. It needs a little more. Like that. So you can copy and paste stuff easy. Like here too. If you want the same background under your text here, it will log in here. We have this called snapping. When you push the N button, then those elements snap to each other. See? Look at this again. Okay. So, when we have everything fixed now, all our spelling is correctly, our spell check and stuff is done, we have to wait for the render to finish, for the background task to finish. Or it's recommended to wait. So it did finish. And then we are going to export this for YouTube here. So we have this here. We have a 920 by 1080, 30p. And then we go in here now and say share for YouTube 1080p 30. We can give it some tags if you want to. We have our estimated file size, and then we go next, and it wants to know where we put it. I put it on the desktop, and it will do its job up here and show us how it does. Now we need a thumbnail title for this video. Do we want my hand in the title? Maybe. That looks awkward enough. Then we can go in here and say File, Share, Current Frame. Next. And we put it in the same spot. Okay, so when it's done rendering the 1080p movie, you can see this here, right? So it does one by one. So it's compiling the 1080p video. It's done already. And then this one here, so it's done. Okay. Now, keep this away. Now we have two files here on our desktop. This is our video we just made, and here we have the thumbnail. Let me double click on this. It's a little big here. So this is about be our thumbnail. This is a TIFF format. So we need this in JPEG. So export JPEG, and then here we change the file size to super small. JPEG here. There's our thumbnail. And then here's our video. Right? Goes like this. I mean, you know this video already, so we hear no sound. The sound is late, right? So we need some sound at the beginning. Okay, so that's a problem. let's open our project. Here, there is no sound. Maybe we need to put this back to where it was. 0 dB sound. There will be a gap here. Active audio angle is DGI here. We can cut this here and put the active audio angle to the GoPro, what was further away. Oh, this doesn't have any more audio. Now we cut up here. Yeah, to 0. We'll see how that sounds like. Yeah, this is slow motion sound. Better than no sound.
Air condition, but there we go.
So, that was the wrong video track. Active audio angle GoPro. Let's try this again. Oh, now it messed us up here, right? So the active audio angle is GoPro, but the video angle I want DJI. Oh, no, what's happening here? Video angle is GoPro. Here. Active video angle DJI. So. Okay. And then this we go down a little bit in the volume. To match this and this audio. Okay, that's it. Now we wait for this to be ready, and then we have to share. You have to share this again. Replace it, and then we just have to wait for it to be ready. It's a little slow on my machine here now because I do the screen recording at the same time. It's going to be done in a second. There we go. And now our video hopefully sounds a little different. Yep. There's one more thing we can do. We can add our logo to this. I mean, since you're here in this video and you followed along that far, this would be like a bonus for you. With the other tutorial I did with motion, we created a pink skull logo, and just let's add that here. Just drag it in, and you have this logo. Now, I did say already that it is transparent. And let's see this here. We go here, put this in here, and we can scale this logo and move around. You can use this button and just move the logo where we need it. So, okay, let's see how this goes. Okay, and We could run this logo through the whole video if we wanted to. Just take it out all the way. Do a dissolve and thing, so it will appear like this. There. And then from here we start the scale and position thing. And we want it in the corner down here. Okay, so scale all and position. Let's go down here. Super small. Down here, and it's going to be there the whole time. So and that's gonna move down there and stay there. Now this may or may not look good here. So during this section, where you have a second one, you may want to have a thing underneath. Here. Like this. Yeah, it's a bunch of transparency stuff. It's only there when we have those two videos in one. Is it here? So now you also learned how to add a logo to it. How to make this logo you find out in my video up here again, and how to make transparent logos and stuff. Okay, now we again go to share this as 1080. Next, it wants to know if we want to override it, and we override again. And this time we have the video done. I thank you much for following me here. I'm going to upload this using this thumbnail to YouTube, and then you can tell me how you like it.